Hi, Democrats. Today is Monday, October 3rd, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. It's October, guys. It's October. We are 36 days away from the election. I mean, it is coming, and it is coming quickly. There are some folks who have their
Hi, friends. It looks like Alicia's frozen, so I'm going to jump in and visit with you for a few minutes. But what she was saying is that we are a month out. For all intents and purposes, we are 1 month from the election. Now, I want to say how wonderful an experience we had on Saturday at the Mike Sinar Memorial Barbecue. It was so much fun. There was so much powerful energy behind our candidates. It was really incredible to see candidates being hugged and greeted and talked to and lifted up by so many Democrats. That is exciting to me. Now, I will also point out that just because they were there and got a lot of love does not mean that they're getting the support that they need, because we are hearing from candidates at every level that they need volunteers. Alicia asks every single day for us to volunteer to help a candidate or two or three. I'm going to sneak in if you can just help one candidate, because I was speaking with Nana Dankwa over the weekend, and he's very frustrated because he has a very long district that runs into two counties. It's a really strangely large district, and he's been knocking doors by himself. He needs some help, but he's not by himself. So if you're looking for a place to get involved, reach out to a candidate near you, someone who's running for House or State Senate, someone who is running for U.S. Congress. Whatever we can do in this last month, that's going to allow us to make the greatest difference that Republicans think that we cannot make in Oklahoma. And it's not just people in Oklahoma, people around the country. If you look at the national news media, you hear virtually nothing about elections in Oklahoma. And yet Joy Hoffmeister is in a statistical tie with the current corrupt governor. That's amazing. She came from way behind and charging forward, building steam every day. Gina Nelson, teachers lining up behind Gina because she believes in public education. So we have got to continue to support our candidates. And that means if you can spare 2 hours to help knock doors, they will appreciate that. Alicia's back. So, Alicia, I was just saying that you always say pick a candidate or two or three to support. And I just told them that today I'd be happy if they could just pick one apiece. It's all yours.
Thank you. So I was going to jump on that. And so I was going to talk today a little bit about why it's important to pick a candidate. And, you know, we say every election that this one's the most consequential and we have to do something this time. So I want to give you some real examples of why it's important to pay attention to the candidates and how it affects your daily life. So the other side is pushing this narrative that the only thing that people care about right now is inflation. Do we care about inflation? We absolutely do, which is why the Democrats deliver the Inflation Reduction Act, which caps medication costs for our seniors, which caps insulin costs, that addresses veterans' needs, that really get down to the nitty gritty in the kitchen table issues. And then I want to talk about, so inflation that everybody's talking about are utilities, grocery, and gas. Those are the things. We have a candidate who's running for a corporation commissioner who says that every time the utility companies come and ask for a rate hike, we don't have to say yes, and that it's up to our corporation commission to say no, to question them, to limit how much money they can raise our rates by. I know I'm angry about my electric bill. It skyrocketed, just out of control. I live by myself. I don't keep it too cold. It is crazy. And then I learned that we don't have to say yes every time they ask. Well, our current corporation commission did say yes. We need somebody on there who will say, well, wait a minute, let's talk about it. Give me more reason. Have to go up this much. Why can't it just go up this much? We need someone who will say that. And I believe that Warigia Bowman, who's running for corporation commission, is that person. That's a way that inflation affects your daily life. Then there's the grocery tax elimination that the governor keeps talking about in his commercials and everywhere that he goes. First of all, that's an idea he cribbed from leader Emily Virgin. She carried a bill in 2022. She carried that very bill. She ran an interim study last summer where she talked about all of the pieces so that it could make sense. And then she actually carried a bill. But the majority in our state, which are Republicans, the majority wouldn't let it happen. They said that it would cause greater inflation. It would be a big deal, blah, blah, blah. So they blocked reducing your grocery sales tax. So the governor talking about it, he's just talking about it for his commercials because he knows that the majority in our state house isn't going to let it pass. They're not going to let it pass. And so it's not even real. He's dangling grocery tax, though he knows that it's not going to happen. Remember that. And then gas. Our entire congressional delegation voted against anti-gas gauging bill that was put forth in Congress. Our entire delegation voted against it. Yet the Republican Party keeps saying that they are the party who's going to rein in inflation. They're going to be the going to control inflation and put more dollars back into taxpayers' pockets. Believe what they say. Believe what they do, not what they say. They've had many an opportunity to address inflation, and they've chosen not to. So that's our entire delegation. They are all 7 of them, except for Inhofe, who stepped down, but all 7 of those seats are open. All 7 of those have a Democrat running in them. Find out who they are. We have Kendra Horn, who's running for Inhofe's vacated seat. We have Madison Horn, who's running to replace James Lankford, who only cares about Texas. He's not even talking about Oklahoma. We have Adam Martin, who's running to replace Kevin Hern. Naomi Andrews, who's running to refill the spot left open by Mark Wayne Mullen. We have Jeremiah Ross, who's running to replace Frank Lucas. And we have Mary Brannon, who's running to replace Tom Cole, and Joshua Harris Till, who's running to replace Stephanie Bice, who got there within 3 days. She signed on to some bills that had nothing to do with Oklahoma. She drank the Kool-Aid. She has to go. Our entire congressional delegation is up. That doesn't happen every 2 years. That's a rarity, and we need to all capitalize on it and show up. It's not just the top of the ticket, but we need to pay attention to the top of the ticket, because when it comes down to our state legislature, who is blocking the grocery tax elimination, who's blocking raising minimum wage, that's our state legislators. We have tons of Democrats running for state House and state Senate who need your attention. Everybody's looking at Joy, and I'm glad. Everybody's looking at Gina, and I'm glad, because that gives them a shot. But we have other races that need attention as well. Because if you vote for a Jarrett Deck down in Norman, that rolls up and it goes to Gina, and it goes to Joy, and it goes to Mary Brannon, and it goes to Kendra and Madison. You know, if you vote for Jimmy Haley in Congressional District 2, that goes to Naomi and Kendra and Madison and Joy and Gina and Marikia and Melinda and Jack and Charles. We have to lift up those candidates, but we also have to pay attention to what's happening right here in our state, because what has happened is our entire congressional delegation went to DC. They forgot that they represented Oklahoma, and they vote along with the crowd. They don't vote for what's good for us. You know why? They have to. They're just like those people in Florida who voted against hurricane relief, and then a hurricane came and hit Florida, and now they're asking for money. They know that they have hurricanes. They know that they have weather disasters, and they were going to eventually need help, because it's not the first, second, or 10th time in my lifetime that it's happened. But they voted against it because they knew that the Democrats would pass it. They knew that the Democrats would pass it. So they didn't have to vote on it, which is shameful. And that's what our congressional delegation is doing. That's exactly what they are voting against our interests, because they know that the Democrats, because we have a majority, will carry the things that are best our interest. They voted against capping insulin prices. They knew that the Democrats in Congress would pass it. So they could vote against it, so they could look like they were part of the crowd, because they knew that we would pass it. We need to hold them accountable for voting for what's right for us. because there will be times when the difference.
I'm going to take Alicia out for a moment because she'll be mortified to know that that's how she froze. Friends, I'm not going to say much else today, except I hope that you'll join me tonight at 6:30 for this week's Hamilton Report. We're going to take a real close look at the gaslighting going on by Republicans and just break apart all of the fake messaging that they've been doing. I hope that you will join with your comments, your questions, because the more interaction we have, the more people will tune in and the more we can keep things moving forward. Here's Alicia to say goodbye.
Yes, here is me to say goodbye. This is why it's important to go out there and help candidates. And, I mentioned Jimmy Haley and I mentioned Jared Deck, but we have candidates all over the state running, not just Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but we have candidates all over the state. Shakira Smith down in Lawton. And we also have municipal offices. We have folks running for city council and school board all over the state. They need your help as well, because the stuff at school board and city council is closest to your house and closest to what happens to you. So you got to vote for those two. You cannot just wait for governor and president. You got to vote for all of it. So the weather is great. Find a candidate or two to help. They are all needing your help right now. Find a candidate to help. Go find out where they are so you can hear who they are, know who they are, educate yourself, educate somebody else, make a plan to vote. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15, hoping that my technology issues are resolved. You guys have a great evening.